Good morning. Welcome to our 10 a.m. meditation for the Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore. My name is Sue Monahan, and I'm your practitioner of distinction for this 10 a.m. meditation. So let's just begin by closing our eyes or lowering our gaze, just letting go of that outer sense of sight. Let your eyes roll back into your head as we do a little bit of breath work. Begin to breathe in deeply, breathing into your belly. Breathing into your chest and your throat areas. Feel the breath come in. Hear the breath come in, and as you release it, feel and sense this release. Let's just take a few moments doing this deep breathing, being conscious of each breath. Receiving each breath as a gift of life, as a gift of divine spirit. I'd like you to imagine a bright light filling your whole body as we continue this breathing and scanning the body for any place of discomfort, disconnect, or dis-ease. Still breathing deeply, let's scan the body to see if there's anywhere or any way that we are holding tension. Start at your feet and release the soles of your feet. Maybe wiggle your toes, moving up into your ankles. Move up our legs to our calves, our shins, our knees, hamstrings and thighs. Let's feel that tension dissipate as we use our breath to send loving light and energy into our body. As we move on up into our sits bone, our glorious gluteus maximus, your lower abdomen, solar plexus, your stomach, your chest, your heart and lungs, your rib cage, into your throat and shoulders. Release your shoulders, your arms, your biceps and triceps, your hands and fingers. Now move into your neck, your head and face. And just release all those muscles. And take a few moments as you're breathing in this light and this energy for any place where you sense discomfort or any tightening. Breathe in deeply, releasing this tension. Breathe in this light, this healing light. If there are muscles or organs that need attention, breathe in and imagine that you are sending your healing breath into those areas, allowing them to be open, to relax, to release, and to heal. The CSL theme for today is about authenticity and cultivating courage by being vulnerable. I used to think that being vulnerable was a weakness because you had to expose yourself. I was afraid of letting anyone in. Now I accept that being vulnerable allows me to experience so much more of life, so much more love and joy. My vulnerability is a superpower. In her book, Gifts of Imperfection, Brene Brown writes, "Courage is a heart word. The root of the word courage is cor, the Italian word for heart. In one of its earliest forms, the word courage meant to speak one's mind by telling all one's heart. To do this, we have to allow ourselves to be vulnerable and authentic. We have to allow those gifts of imperfection. So in this meditation, we're invited to open up, to be vulnerable, or to look at those places where fear might come up. Still using our breath, knowing that the light is surrounding and enfolding us. I'm going to invite you to repeat these affirmations. And if anything comes up, any fear or negativity, just look at it. No judging. Maybe you can sense where it's coming from. Say to yourself, I am safe right where I am. I will not abandon you. I love you. I love all aspects of you, the light and the shadow. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. Sometimes we can hear our critical nature that stops us from being our authentic self. Just see when and if this comes up. And let's repeat this, accepting that we will not abandon ourselves, all of the ages and aspects of ourselves. Say to yourself, I am safe right where I am. I will not abandon you. I love you. I love all aspects of you, the light and the shadow. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. If your mind wanders, use your breath and the light to infuse you with your glorious divine guidance. This is always available to you. Here we are safe to be our authentic, divine, vulnerable self. Just take this in. Say to yourself, I am safe right where I am. Can you feel it? I will not abandon you. I love you. I love all aspects of you, the light and the shadow. I love and accept myself fully and completely, exactly as I am. As we end our meditation, I hope you know how magnificent you are, how courageous you are for the path that you're on, divinity expressing itself through you. I will end this meditation with a spiritual mind treatment. Today, I open up to the divine truth of my being, understanding, recognizing, and believing that there is only one life, a unity in multiplicity that is ever expressing itself in, as, and through me because it is me. I am divinely guided and gifted in this knowing and this feeling of complete acceptance of myself exactly as I am. I am magnificent, a unique being of light and love, and I let it show. Today and every day, I allow myself to know safety, to know that I will not abandon any aspect of myself that might have been abandoned by others along my journey. I allow myself to feel love and to give and receive love freely. I release my fears through the recognition of my fears. I am courageous. I am brave. I am strong. I am authentically, magnificently amazing. I open up to this truth more and more, accepting myself. I am grateful for this meditation, this reflection, this remembering the truth. We are all one with the divine spirit. I allow this to feel good. I allow myself to feel gratitude for my willingness to participate in this life now. I am grateful for knowing that my spirit is eternal and eternally expanding. I am grateful that I am conscious of this. As I release this prayer, I trust, surrender, and trust in this life process, knowing that Spirit Source always says yes to my deepest desires. Life is good. My life is good. And so it is.
Good morning. Just keeping in with the meditative flow. This first song will be without music, but it's very dear to my heart. And if you've heard it, listen as if you are listening for the very first time. In this very room, there's quite enough love for one like me. In this very room, there's quite enough joy for one like me. And there's quite enough peace and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Jesus, yes, Jesus is in this very room. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. In this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough peace and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Jesus, yes, Jesus is in this very room. In this very room, there's quite enough love for you and me. In this very room, there's quite enough joy for you and me. Oh, there's quite enough peace and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Jesus, yes, Jesus is in this very room.
Good morning, the Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore. Good morning, my beloved community. And thank you, Sue Monahan, and thank you, Charles, for that pre-service treat, because that was phenomenal. Sue, I just felt that you were just revealing your inner essence. And Charles, you filled this room and any room with your voice and your love and the Spirit of God. So thank you both so much for setting the tone for today. We are very grateful that you're here. I want you to know that each Sunday, each broadcast of a service is a time to invite a friend. Ask them to join you online, ask them to come over and have breakfast with you, have a cup of coffee, and share the love that we have here at CSL Greater Baltimore. Today, our opening prayer is presented by Mary Ann Marsalek. Mary Ann is a member of our community and has been a practitioner for 7 years. She has been studying practice science of mind for 17 years. Mary Ann is a wife, a mother, and a grandmother of 2 wonderful grandsons. She has a master's in fine arts from the Maryland Institute of Art, and she has devoted her life to teaching, promoting, and establishing arts, humanities, and wellness courses and programs for continuing education at several colleges for over 30 years. Becoming a licensed practitioner allowed Mary Ann to dive in and find the deeper meaning of life through prayer, art, journaling, spiritual practices, and study. Her involvement with people at work, church, and community and volunteering has contributed to all her spiritual growth, and she's also the secretary of the CSL Greater Baltimore Board of Directors. Some of Mary Ann's core beliefs are God's presence dwells in each of us, realizing oneness in God and oneness with all creation. And as Gandhi said, we must be the change we want to see in the world. Mary Ann, please start us off with an opening prayer.
Good morning, and welcome, and thank you, Robin. This is just a wonderful, magnificent, glorious day, and this is what I know. I know that we are all here together as one. We are one with the one mind, the one heart, the infinite source of all goodness, the creator of all that is. And right here and now, we are united. We are always one with this one, with the one presence. And I feel this presence so strongly now. Such a glorious beginning we had with Sue Monahan giving the pre-service meditation, and Charles, the musician, starting us off with a wonderful, glorious song. So I feel, and I am so grateful for this community and all of the volunteers who have made this Sunday service possible. Our producer, Sue Monahan, Robin Holt, the host for today, for all the technical help that we've had, for our Reverend Kathleen Sibley. I pray for her and for the talk that is coming. I feel so grateful and so full of the spirit, and feel our community growing and expanding, serving this community and the larger community of Greater Baltimore. I welcome all the people who have joined us today, whether it's the first time or you are an ongoing member. Thank you for being here with us. We are gathered together today with great curiosity, our theme from last month, ready and open to hear more about growing and cultivating authenticity in our life, to be who and what we truly are, to be accepting and loving of ourselves, to feel compassion toward ourselves, and being able, as Sue so magnificently spoke about, to be authentic and to be vulnerable and open. So we go forward with great enthusiasm and curiosity and openness to hear the glorious music in front of us, to hear the talk for today. So we bless everyone who is serving right here and now to make this service possible. And I am so grateful for this community and our steps forward to grow and expand. So I release this prayer with great gratitude, with great joy, with great love and compassion for everyone. I release this prayer knowing it is done, and so it is.
Thank you so very much, Marianne. Way to set the tone for this service, to remind us of where we were last month with curiosity, and to set the tone for starting on being authentic. Here at the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore, we honor all the world's religions. I like to think of this as everybody is on a path. We're all reaching for spiritual enlightenment, and it doesn't matter what path you're on, it's where you're going, and that all religions allow people to move that. So we honor the diversity of all religions as represented by this ceremony. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Buddhism is the path of compassion and cessation of suffering. Christianity is the path of love and forgiveness. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God. Judaism is the path of living by sacred law. Indigenous spirituality is the path of honoring the earth and all life. Shintoism is the path of ritual veneration of kami and honoring nature. Taoism is the path of ultimate reality through balance. Unitarian Universalist is the path of social justice and sacred activism. Science of mind and spirit is the path of awakening one's spiritual magnificence in accord with love and law. And the heart. The heart represents our love for and unity with all life. I have to always reflect on that. I just love to think, I like to think about all those different ways of finding and experiencing spirit. Here at the Center for Spiritual Living, we have lots of events going on. We have news to share. We would love if you could join us on Thursday night for our study group, where we will kind of go over what we talk about in the service today. And we also have online a discovery class that is one of the first steps to becoming a member of our community. You can find all that on CSL or on our website, cslgreaterbaltimore.com, and it'll allow you to join in either one of those activities. What you are seeking is seeking you. Use the law of the universe to create the life of your dreams. Doesn't that sound awesome? This is a workshop that's going to be led by one of our practitioners, Frank Mestoris. It's on March 5th, 1 to 4 o'clock. It's online. There's a love offering of $20, but know and honor who and whose you really are. Learn tools to use the laws of the universe and find practical steps and spiritual practices for change. And the contact information there, and you can reserve your spot by emailing Frank at fmestoris@gmail.com. Sounds like an exciting adventure. Cultivating Authenticity, Navigating Transitions. Do you know the difference between change and transition? I can't say that I really do. Do you know CSL Greater Baltimore is doing both? Join us for this 3-hour workshop to create our new expression. It's on Saturday, for April 1st. It's going to be in person. The location is to be determined, and you can get more information at info@cslgreaterbaltimore.org, and you can also email that address in order to register for that workshop. Join us for our next lunch bunch next Sunday, March 12th, 12:30 p.m. at Kung Fu 12 Szechuan. It's on York Road in Timonium, Maryland. If you'd like to RSVP, you can do so to info@cslgreaterbaltimore.org. Remember to send your accumulated love offering in support of the I Love Me and CSLGB fundraiser. If you participated in that fundraiser, it was opportunities for you to show self-love and then reflect on that by making a donation to the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore. And we really thank you for your support. Our brothers and sisters at the Center for Spiritual Living Laurel is having a virtual bingo. I participated in this last month. It was really fun. But it's next Sunday, March 12th. You can get on, you can contact them at cslaurelbingo@gmail.com for more information. But if you like bingo, this is the way you can play bingo from the comfort of your own home. Our next board meeting is March 19th. Everyone, we have complete open meetings. Everybody is welcome to participate and to give their input and their insights on things. It's directly after service in the Zoom room, so you can see the website for the link. We are seeking volunteers to the community to serve in many ways. You can help with grant writing, coordinating, brainstorming ideas, locating our next right perfect home, hospitality, greeters, hosting, sound and video for the presentation, team setup. There's just so many ways that you can give, again, from the comfort of your home, or if you're venturing out into the community, we can always find things that we need to do in the community as well. So please consider volunteering for your community. In case you haven't heard, prayer works. It works. When you sit and you align yourself with spirit, prayer works. And we as a community continue to treat, pray, and move our feet and act, knowing the truth for everyone around the planet. If you have a prayer request, you can send it to info@cslgreaterbaltimore.org. Someone will respond to you and help lead you through an affirmative prayer. Please take advantage of that. Let me tell you about Charles Holt. If you were not here for that first opening selection, it was phenomenal. Phenomenal. It gave me God bumps. But Charles is an actor, vocalist, inspirational speaker, and writer. He's performed in some of the most celebrated shows in American theater history, such as Smokey Joe's Cafe, Jesus Christ Superstar, and The Lion King. He adds guest starring roles in television, film to his credit, as well as work as a voiceover artist. He addresses many groups and organizations, including TEDx, Trauma Informed Networks, and NCORE, the National Conference on Race and Ethnicity. Charles is the founder and director of the Open Frames Project, an innovative technology and curriculum that facilitates emotional literacy and learning with the intention of uncovering and neutralizing trauma-informed behavior. It is truly my honor to present to you Charles Holt.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you. Rolling river God, little stones are smooth, only once the water passes through. Now I am a stone, rough and grainy still, trying to reconcile this river's chill. But when I close my eyes and feel you rushing by, I know that time brings change, and change takes time. And when the sunset comes, my prayer will be just one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am just a little smoother in your hands. Sometimes raging wild, sometimes swollen high, but never have I known this river dry. The deepest part of you is where I want to stay and feel the sharpest edges wash away. But when I close my eyes and feel you rushing by, I know that time brings change, and change, it takes time. And when the sunset comes, my prayer will be just one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am I'm just a little smoother in your hands. Rolling river God, these little stones are smooth. It's only once the water passes through.
Amen to that, Charles. Thank you. Thank you so much for just creating the perfect mood, the perfect sacred space for us to do our spiritual practice. Thank you again. That was just gorgeous, so beautiful. So right now we are going to do a spiritual reading followed by a time of contemplation. So right now, I'd like everyone to just get comfortable in their chairs, wherever they are. We're going to take a couple deep cleansing breaths. Let's lower our gaze or close our eyes. So let's take a couple deep cleansing breaths.
Having satellite array to understand what has happened. So I think these dots represent the peace.
That feels so good. Just keep on breathing deeply and slowly. And let's just let any tension just leave our shoulders. Lower your shoulders. Let any tensions just roll down your arms and just melt away from your fingertips. Let's just keep on breathing deeply and slowly. Just feels so good. And as many of you know, this month's theme is cultivating authenticity. And I was very privileged to find a quote and a spiritual reading about being authentic and how authenticity comes from the heart. A quote from Sonia Rochette is, "For several centuries now, we have emphasized the intellect. It is fine in its place. It is not, however, the most authentic way of knowing. The most authentic comes from the heart." And may I humbly say, the most authentic way of being also comes from the heart. And this spiritual reading is from the book Blessings by Julia Cameron, entitled "The Heart is a Wise and Faithful Guide." I bless the wisdom of my loving heart. Love is a form of listening. I listen with a loving heart. I listen to the love within my heart, and I hear the love in the hearts of others. My heart guides me tenderly and truly. I find ways through the wilderness. My heart finds paths through the desert. My heart is valiant, courageous, and wise. My heart senses the truth and offers compassion in times of conflict. My heart has patience. My heart has humility. It is fully human and fully divine. As I listen to my heart, I am able to love humanly with divine wisdom. I am wiser than I know, kinder than I believe, and authentic in mind and heart. I am loving and compassionate to others and myself. My heart holds the world in tender awe, and we tend to it with love. Let's take a moment or so or a minute or so to just continue to close our eyes and just contemplate these words and what they mean for us, for me in particular.
Well, this is a serious refresher for And I hope that as soon as you said
I allow myself to listen. I allow myself to be open. I allow myself to heal and change. I am open and aware. I release and let go anything that no longer serves me. I dive deeper into knowing the truth of my being. I dive deeper into knowing my authentic self. I dive deeper into acting from my authentic self. I dive deeper into being my authentic self. I am so grateful to open to the truth of my being. Amen, Ashe, and so it is.
Thank you so very much, Marianne. What a wonderful way to prepare ourselves, to fill ourselves with spirit, to be ready to receive Reverend Kathleen's message. And speaking of Reverend Kathleen Sibley is our interim minister, and she is a blessing to our community and to the world. She comes to us after she served more than a decade at the Center for Spiritual Living in Prescott, Arizona. Now she teaches and supports other Centers for Spiritual Living ministers in her role at the center in Colorado. She serves for corporate and individual clients through her nonprofit organization, Mindful Gap Focus Ministry. It is truly my pleasure to present to you Reverend Kathleen Sibley.
Thank you so much, Robin. And thank you all for being here today or wherever and whenever you're watching this from. Please know that the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore is here to serve you, no matter who you are or where you're from, no matter what role you've been playing in life. So the name of this talk is, what is the name of my talk? Oh, goodness. Everyone else is already taken. And the rest of that saying is actually be yourself because everyone else is already taken. Now, here's the thing. You can't be yourself if you don't know yourself. You may as well be yourself because for me, at least, even with an acting background, I find it hard to stay in character for too long. Who I really am eventually steps out. And this is also what I know. Authenticity is a much healthier way to live. So in order to figure out who our authentic selves might be, what we find is that it's very helpful to look at the stories we've been told about ourselves and about our roles in the world. Now, some people might take issue with this, but I call that our mythology. Mythology doesn't mean it's not real. It means it's the encoded wisdom of a culture. And if you don't understand the code, if you don't understand it's a teaching story, then you might take it as just, like urban legend. But it's not factually true so much as immensely and deeply true. capital T true. So let's look at some of the mythologies that we have in our culture. Now, this month happens to be Women's History Month, so I'm going to tell some stories about women. And one of the mythologies is the little girls are all told about the Prince Charming, who's going to come and rescue you. Prince Charming, who, if you're pretty and good and nice, that person will come and make you have worth. Now that puts an awful lot of pressure on the little boys who are supposed to be Prince Charming. Maybe they want to be rescued. Maybe they're just busy happy having the horse. I don't know. But I was raised with the idea of, if I'm good, if I'm like Cinderella and I do all the nice things, then I will eventually get to be happy. Now, there's an earlier version of Cinderella than the one most of us grew up with, and that was written by the Brothers Grimm in 1812. In that story, Cinderella's mother, the story begins with Cinderella's mother dying and leaving her the injunction to be good and pious, to always pray, and that God would be with her, and her mother would be with her. So it starts with a death scene where that which is old is dying away. And in this Cinderella, she doesn't make wishes, she prays. She goes out underneath a tree and she prays. And rather than having a fairy godmother, what she's got is birds that come and give her the answers to her prayer. Now, this is a bit of a messier and frankly meaner situation where, first of all, as the father knows exactly what's going on, it's very obvious that his daughter from his first marriage is not valued by his new wife, but he doesn't get involved in that at all. And when it comes time for the 3 opportunities for Cinderella to meet the prince, they're at a village festival and she's all dressed up. She was dressed by birds, and everything happens in trees. What's interesting is that when she's running away, it's not that it's midnight, it's that the prince, wanting to keep her stuck with him, has put tar on the path, and so one of her shoes comes off, her shoe of silver and gold. And when he shows around the shoe, the first stepsister goes into a room and it doesn't fit. And so she actually takes off a toe so that she can fit in. And the birds call her out and say, "Oh, that's not her. She's bleeding. Look." The second sister goes in, tries on the shoe, and her heel is too big. So she cuts off part of her heel. In other words, the encoded wisdom is, you cannot fake true piety. You will not fit. That shoe will not fit. And of course, when Cinderella puts it on, it fits perfectly and all sorts of happily ever after, except that those same birds that came to help Cinderella, actually, as they're doing a procession through town, those same birds come and peck out the eyes of the stepsisters. Now, I suppose you could take that as God is vengeful. I choose to see it as you can't fake true internal goodness. But here's the thing, in Science of Mind, we say you don't need to fake true internal goodness because you're already truly internally good. So we fast forward a bit to my childhood, which was a long time after 1812. I'm just going to say that right here and now. The Cinderella we got from the Disney story, from the Disney franchise, she is beautiful. The stepsisters are physically ugly instead of emotionally ugly. And now the hero of the story isn't God, but a fairy godmother. Someone who is alien and different. Oh my God, a woman with power. And instead of having to pray for good and suffer without complaining, she still has to do that. But really, it's a matter of she just needs to say what she wants. And so magic happens, and the mice and the birds and everything else are kept in there, and they help her. So the mythology has shifted to where women can have power in a good way, and the sisters don't hurt themselves to try and fit in that shoe. It just doesn't fit, and everybody can tell. So there's less blood involved. Now, I was thinking about this last night. It's been a while since I was a little kid sitting and watching these movies We didn't watch. We had to go to a movie theater to watch these things, but it's been a while since Cinderella and Snow White and Sleeping Beauty were the Disney princesses. So let me take you forward in time to a new mythology. The new Disney princess is more like the Princess and Brave. And I had, for you guys, I went and watched it last night. So Princess Merida has this wild and crazy red hair, which used to be a sign of evil. You know, it's during a certain time, certainly during those two Cinderella's times, it was, you know, the red-headed stepchild would have not been well loved. So Merida has an opinion. She has skills. She can ride. She can shoot an arrow. She helps her little brothers misbehave. She doesn't have negative members of the family. She's very close to her father. Oh my God, as women become more free, men become more free. We all become more free. The challenge is the mother and the daughter relationship. And so the main character finally is taking power into herself and fixing her own life. And, you know, she accidentally turns her mother into a bear, but, you know, sometimes families have issues. So in this case, the mythology is bringing that energy of power closer and closer to the main character, who happens to be female. And if you think these stories don't matter, I will point out that over the course of time, since 1812, women have certainly come a long way, baby, to the point where now Princess Merida took the screen in 2012. As it happens, that was the same year that The Hunger Games came out, and characters like Katniss Everdeen were the powerful woman who's going to change the world. Lots of really strong female characters start coming on. Now, as it happens, I found some interesting little factoids about that. In the year 2012, when Brave and Hunger Games came out, archery, because both of them were archers, became far more popular. So in 2013 and 2014, the interest in archery had gone up by 83%. The interest in archery by little girls had gone up 105%. And the person that did that research was Gina Davis. Now, I knew her as the actress, Gina Davis, who sometimes plays kind of a bubble-headed person. She happens to be a member of Mensa. She wrote a book called Dying of Politeness, and her life's work is all about representation of women in film. We want to be part of the story, is what she's saying. She just barely missed being in the Olympics and the archery team for the US. That was in 2000. She is absolutely not just the character she plays on screen. She is an actor. She had to learn all sorts of sports and stuff in order to play her characters. And it turns out she really liked archery. And so only 2 years after getting into the sport of, for itself and not just for a role, she made, I think it was 26 out of 300 competitors, which was just on the outside of what would have gone to the Olympics. The characters and the roles we play are not necessarily who we are. They can tell us a lot about why we do the things we do because we've been told to be those characters. So think about it for a moment. In my family, when I was growing up, I thought of myself as the smart one. My older sister was the athlete. My little brother was the boy. He was, he was cute, but he was also the boy, and thus he got special privileges. If I think about it now, we weren't really friends at the time. We were siblings, and God help the person who came after one of my siblings, because my sister would take care of that. But we were not actually friends. We were not able to be authentic with each other. Authenticity, according to Brené Brown, is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we really are. So I was the well-behaved one. My sister was kind of wild. Michael was Again, he was the cute one. But as we're adults now, my brother is actually the smart one. He doesn't have all the degrees, but his IQ is far higher than mine or my sister's. Kelly is the compassionate one. She's a healer. If you see her working with animals or disabled kids, you can see that she immediately reaches out and somehow touches them in their soul and has this amazing healing ability. She can get kids to do things like, there was one autistic little boy she and I both worked with, and little Johnny, that was actually his name, little Johnny, he was dog phobic until Kelly got her hands on him, and then playing with her dog became the treat if he did his work. He was also water phobic. So after only a month or two of knowing him, it wasn't all that long, she had him swimming underwater. And I remember him popping up, his little wet little head and his little glasses on, and he looks at Kelly and says, "I love you." Now this child is barely verbal. I've been working with him for I don't even know how long. I have a master's in counseling. Will he talk to me? No. But Kelly just kind of waves her magic wand, and all of a sudden there's healing. She's more than just the athlete, just the wild child. She's a healer. And we all get to be our more authentic selves as adults, and thus we get to be friends. It's really hard to connect intimately, emotionally, with somebody who is not real. There's nothing there to connect with. It's like trying to be best friends with a paper doll or the celluloid princess that, the old Disney characters were. So I'm going to ask you to just think about for a moment, who would you be if you didn't know your own story? There's a Buddhist koan about what did you look like before you got your face when you were born? I think it's said much differently than that. But in general, who were you before you were born? Who is the truth of you? And what we teach is that if I let go of all of these stories I tell myself, the not good enough, the too old, too tall, too short, too fat, not having enough money, bad because I might have some debt. I go back to the old story of God and think I'm in trouble always. I'm not, I don't sing well enough. I'm not techie enough. All of that not enoughness that most of us have somewhere going on in the background because that's just part of the American culture. What if we could let go of that for a moment and just be free? Who would we really be? I find I am far more opinionated than I was raised to be. I was raised to not talk about money, religion, or politics. I regularly talk about money because it's a spiritual idea. I'll talk about politics with my friends, but not here. But I will talk about principle here. I will talk about oneness and truth and unity here, which some people will take as political. And oh yeah, religion. I'm going to talk about religion, right? Because that's just who I am. I'm a minister. And speaking of religion, one of the themes that goes through many of the ancient faith traditions, it's on the walls of the temples in Egypt at Luxor. It's written into Socrates' writings. It's in the Judeo-Christian tradition, is the idea of know thyself. And to quote Ali ibn Abi Talib, know thyself and thou shalt know God. Now, forgive me for making a mess of his name, but for those of you who don't know, he was one of the first imams within the Shiite section of Islam, sect of Islam. He was the fourth caliph. He is greatly respected. But his teaching was, if you know yourself, you'll know God. It's written on temple walls since almost as far back as we can find. If you know yourself, who you really are, without all of the extra layers that have been added by time and teaching and cultural conditioning, if you will do that, you will find that you actually are the divine. So You may as well be yourself. You are the individualized expression of God itself. You are how God wanted to show up today, in this time and in this place, in every time and place. And God doesn't make mistakes. The divine being is going to show up in all of its glory as you. So you don't need a handsome prince or princess to rescue you. You don't need to turn somebody else into a bear in order to be all right and to be able to fully express who you are. You just need to go within and begin to let go of those things that never felt right anyway, that might be a part of you, but are not all of you. And so I ask you to join me now as we do what we do, which is called spiritual mind treatment. What we do is work on our spiritual self in order to see truth so that it can crowd out anything else. So join me now in consciousness. Join me now in knowing with all that I am and all that we are and all that God is, that there is a single power and presence in the universe, and it is singing itself as us. There is a truth that we know, which is that the manifest universe is the body of God. It is a logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. What we know about the divine, what we know about ourselves, is that we are part of God. And how we say it is we believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny. For we understand the life we live is God. And so as God expresses through each and every one of us this week, through these talks, through these songs, through these meditations, and through our daily lives, going out and picking up groceries, all of that is divine. We are fully divine and fully human at the same time, and there is no greater story to tell. That is the greatest story of all. And so I release everything that looks unlike that. I release all of the beliefs, all of the habits, all of those things that do not carry the weight of the divine, that cannot hold in the face of that glory, that are simply shadows. And we learn their shadows by shining the light of love on them. And as we do this, as this is our truth more and more fully embodied, I know that God is pleased as us, that our lives become more functional, that we are truly happier beings. And this is simply the truth. All we have to do is accept it as truth, as our birthright. And spirit moves it into form. And for that, I am so grateful to know that that is the natural law of the universe. I give thanks and celebrate. And I simply allow it all to be that which is. And so it is.
Oh, that was wonderful. Thank you. Woo! Love that. Stories. Yes. Okay. I am. An angel asked me, do you know who you are? The question and the answer is not very far. The song of the sages, the knowledge of the ages is living where you reside. You have the key that unlocks a door to enter in that sacred place you haven't gone before, where deep meets deep, soul to soul. Feel that connection as the truth unfolds. I am, I am, I am, I am. You aren't You are the answer. Yes, you are the key that unlocks the door to freedom and leads you to me. Look deep inside you. Trust the force that guides you. It knows the way. Yeah, there's no separation. We're one and the same. A child of the Creator, known by different names. The Alpha and Omega, the eternal flame that burns deep inside you. Do you know my name? I am from the mountains to the oceans. I am from the rocks to the trees. I am all the stars and constellations. I am, you are. I am from the mountains to the oceans. I am from the rocks to the trees. Yeah. All the stars and constellations. I am, and you are. I am mystical. Yeah. I am love. And you live in me from the very low, to the heavens above. I am. There's no separation. We're one and the same. A child of the Creator, known by different names. The Alpha and Omega, the eternal flame. It burns deep inside you. Do you know my name? I am from the mountains to the oceans. I am from the rocks to the trees. I am all the stars and constellations. I am, you are. I am peace that passes all understanding. I am the joy that's overflowing. I am the love in abundance. I am, you are. I am.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. First, Reverend Kathleen, you rock our world with challenging us to be our authentic self, to know yourself, and you will know God. And then Charles comes in with I am. And I wish the people at home could see the studio here, because everybody's in here bopping and booping and rocking around to Charles's music. It was phenomenal. Thank you both very, very much. Yes, Kathleen, get it on. Thank you both. Thank you for starting our weeks out with such a wonderful, inspirational theme here. I want to share with you the CSLGB vision. This is what we hold in front of us as we move through our daily day, as we move through doing the business of our community, as we move through our lives, that our vision is to have a 24-hour spiritual facility that serves as a community hub, offering people a wide array of services so that each person awakens to their spiritual magnificence, that we will build a world that works for all. It's that simple. So we want to talk about conscious spiritual investing. And as Reverend Kathleen said, money is a spiritual tool. I think so many of us have some kind of a taboo about money, that there's, it's the conveyor of sin. Not so. It is the giver of power. It is a spiritual tool. And there are many ways that you can support the Center for Spiritual Living through conscious spiritual investing. You can give through PayPal. You can give through Giveify. You can text message, or you can send it in the U.S. snail mail. Everything works. If you want this board to know that you are designating something that you want something to go into a particular fund, it could be something like the emergency fund, a new building fund, the educational fund, any of those. All you have to do is designate that with your gift. And you can do all that through the website, csl.com give. And it's right there. There's a donate button. Just push that and you can decide how much and where you want your money to go. Please use the power of your money. In order to get into the consciousness of giving and recognizing the power of money, I would ask that you join me in this declaration of financial wealth and abundance. I joyfully, consciously, and gratefully participate in the law of circulation. I trust in the spiritual principle that says, as I sow into my beloved community, I demonstrate my awareness of standing not only in the flow, but as the flow itself. As I sow of myself, my time, my treasure, my talent, I demonstrate my support and engagement in my community's vision, mission, and purpose. I actively give as a demonstration of manifesting, of reaping the harvest of a world that works for all. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Sue, for the pre-meditation or the pre-service meditation. Thank you, Mary Ann, for leading us in spiritual practices. Thank you, Charles, for sharing the gift of your voice and your talents. Thank you, Reverend Kathleen, for inspiring us with your message. I'm sitting here thinking, I have to engage in the daily practices of letting go who I think I am and being my authentic self. That's my message to take into the new community. I hope everyone else leaves here with a message. Please join us for fellowship after service. You can do that on the CSL Greater Baltimore website. Just hit the Zoom button. If you would like a practitioner to pray with you, when you come to the Zoom room, we will break you out into a private room so you can meet with a practitioner. Please have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful next moment of your life. And so it is.
Oh, thank you so much, Robin. So let's pray. Let us pray, building on what our beloved Robin just had to say. Knowing that this very moment, in this very room, this time and space is how the divine showed up today. Out of its own highest thought, it contemplated itself, and here we are. And so this very moment is sacred, as is this place, wherever you may be right now, whenever you might be watching this. What I absolutely know with every aspect of me is that there is just this good that is available to us. And as we focus on that, it grows. And so as we go out into our world today, as we go out of our homes and out into the greater community, we take this good with us and we feel it so strongly it can't help but be projected to everybody we meet. And so I claim that authentic God's self is now moving out into the world today. It does not go away. It simply expands throughout the week. I celebrate and bless that experience. I give thanks for it in advance, and I call it good and very good. And so it is.